Tales of a Knitter. I am Melissa. I appreciate you stopping by to talk about all the knitting and projects. So I will start out with what I'm wearing. This is the Wicklow sweater. It is, I actually wrote it down, it is by Norah. I don't think I'm going to be able to pronounce her last name correctly. I will be putting it on the screen. And also just a disclaimer, everything I talk about, any patterns mentioned or yarn, I do leave down in the description box. However, with this yarn made for or used to make this sweater, it is discontinued. So I will not be able to link it down below. I will still write the name down there. But you can Google search it. Maybe someone's destashing it. I did make this sweater back in 2017 in September. It is a raglan shaped sweater. So you can kind of see it here. So it does have these nice raglan sleeves, little shaping there for the shoulders. I really enjoyed making this sweater. It is cabled. It has cables all the way down the front of the bodice and also on the back. It has a nice ribbing. I did a tubular cast on for my, or I think it was a bind off actually. Yeah, it was a bind off because the way you knit it is you go bottom up and connect the sleeves and you decrease. So I did the tubular bind off, I'm sorry. So yes, I really enjoyed making this sweater. It was my first cabled sweater I've ever made. And I'm very happy I got to use a bulky weight to knit it with, because I couldn't imagine doing like the one cabled sweater, which is from my first couple of episodes. So if you want to go back and check that out, I talk about a cable sweater that I designed myself. Like I made it for me, heavily inspired. Sorry, my cat is attacking my power cord. Hold on one moment. Sorry about that. For you, it's just a second. For me, it was a couple of minutes getting her to leave the room. So back to the sweater. It is called the Wicklow by Norah. Again, name on the bottom of the screen for you because I cannot pronounce that and I do not want to try butchering her name. So this pattern is found in the Berroco issue number 345. And it was like a little pamphlet I found whenever I was working at the local yarn shop here in Laconner. So I saw it, and of course my boss, she carried the Berroco Inca tweed that the pamphlet was, using to design these patterns that it was putting out. So I went ahead and I bought the yarn in this beautiful Sapa Inca. I think I said that right. Sapa Inca colorway. It's a really pretty purple color. It's absolutely stunning. And since obviously it was years ago, I don't have a skein to show you the specs, so I did write them down. So this sweater is, or this yarn for this sweater is 50% wool, 30% alpaca, 14% acrylic, and 6% viscose. It is 153 yards or 140 meters for 100 grams or for 3.5 ounces. So even though this yarn is discontinued, maybe those specs will help you be able to find a substitute if you are interested in making this sweater. It is 12 to 14 stitches per 4 inches, and that is on a size US 10 or a 6mm needle. And what I would like to also say is I will put in a little video over here of me actually showing you the sweater. I would get up right now and show you, but it wouldn't show up very well. I tried, so this way you can at least see how it is fitting on me. It has a slight high-low hem. Honestly, I feel really bad. I forgot which size I made, but I know I made either the medium or large option just because I wanted some extra room. So something I do like about these sleeves is they aren't super tight, but they are semi-fitted, so they're not as oversized as the body of the sweater. So the body has quite a bit of Positive Ease, which I absolutely love. I just love it. And one other thing I have done is I put elastic into this neckline due to the fact that there is a high percentage of alpaca in this yarn. It does stretch over time, and I just, how do I say it? Like, I don't, oh, hi Lily. So if you're new here, this is my kitty cat Lily. She loves to come in and hang out. But yeah, I just, where was I? I got lost in cute catness. So yes, this sweater was a joy to make. I did put elastic into the neckline because I did notice some boat necking or overstretching of it over the years since I did make this in 2017. I just noticed it really was starting to like lose its shape quite a bit. So I did just put in some elastic. I left it still pretty loose. Like when I first put it in, it went almost like up to here, and that wasn't comfortable for me. So I did have to clip that out and have a re-go at it. And I really enjoy it. I think the fit is perfect. I wish, looking back, thinking, well, when I was making this sweater, I thought, oh, because it is alpaca, it will stretch out. So I thought the arms would stretch out as well. But they really haven't, and I wish I would have knit it just maybe an inch longer, just so I could really like comfortably have it over my hands when it's a little chilly outside. But I wasn't able to do that when I ran out of yarn, and it's also discontinued now, sadly. But I just misjudged that situation. I do feel like it grew more like horizontally than vertically. I'm not sure, but anyway, I really do love this. I thought it was a fantastic way to start learning cables, or someone that does know cables but they've, you know, never made a cabled sweater. I thought it was really fun to, you know, give it a go and make your first sweater or cabled sweater, for me anyway. It was a nice little intro into that design element. Yeah. So that is all I have to say about this sweater. But I do have some finished objects to talk about today. And I'm so sorry, I'm so distracted. I love my little girl. She's just so sweet. She's so curious too. Oh, she just shook the camera. I'm so sorry. So anyway, let's go on over to finished objects that I have to share with you. Couple of finished objects I have to show to you today are not made by me. They are actually made by my mom. And so the first one I want to show off is the Snuggle pants, which I have shown before in the I think it was episode 13, the one that I had with my mom. She showed them off at that point. I'm not sure if they were quite finished at that time, so I figured I should re-show it also just because they're cute, and she did finally give them to me, since they are well, they're almost finished. She hasn't put the elastic in yet, but anyway. So these, this finished object is called Snuggle, but I like to say Snuggle Pants, by Erika Knight from the Bloom 2 baby book. Aren't those just so precious? Little baby pants. So if you are new here, I am sadly not pregnant at this time. My mom and I are actually starting to knit some baby items to kind of squirrel away and put into like a little, you know, safe bin to hold on to, so whenever I do eventually become pregnant or have a child, I can, you know, get in there and use these beautiful little baby knits, because I know no pregnancy is just alike, so I don't know what to expect if, like, whenever I'm pregnant. I don't know if I'm gonna be super morning sick or anything, so I don't know how much knitting I'm gonna actually have available to me to make my, you know, children things. So I thought it would be fun to start putting some things away, you know, that are special. So, but these are the little newborn pants that my mom made. They are out of the what? So sorry, I can't read my handwriting. They're out of the Rowan Baby Cashsoft Merino in the colorway Nutkin. So it's this beautiful, like, brownie, orangey kind of color. I love it. And the little cuffs at the bottom roll down, so just like a long little ribbing. So once they do get maybe a little bit longer in the leg, you can always roll down the cuff if you would like. And a little out of breath, but she hasn't actually seamed down the waistband because we don't know, obviously, if my baby will be 2 weeks late like I was, or they could be 2 weeks early like my husband was, or right on time. You just never quite know. And so she wanted to make sure also, depending on that, like how much elastic or how tight to make it versus like maybe just go back and seam it down with just, you know, yarn even. So she just wanted to wait and see, and she would do that for me at that time. But I just wanted to show these two. So my mom made those. And the other thing she made from the Rowan Bloom 2 book, which also is linked down below, as is all the yarn that I speak about. This is the sweater, the baby sweater Buddy by Erika as well, from the same book, in the same yarn but a different color. So this is in the color cream, I believe. So look at how sweet this little sweater is. So she did make the sleeves slightly longer and rolled them because, you know, babies just grow like weeds. So she did that and just rolled up the sleeves. But I thought it was so precious. I have a hair on me. Like, oh, I have more than one. Oh my gosh. It was tickling me. But yes, it's just also the newborn size. This precious little sweater. Oh my God. Can y'all even imagine? Oh, holding a little baby. Oh, I'm just so excited. I'm sorry if you're not for baby knits, but I totally am, and that is just too cute. And I think it's so sweet that, you know, my child's gonna have handmade items from their grandmother. I just love that. And this yarn is so soft. What a lucky child to get to wear these items. Just so pretty. Alrighty, and so that excuse me, words, grammar, Melissa. So those are the two finished objects from my mother. I have recently finished an object that I didn't know I would be making. So in the last video, I did not speak about this at all. I'd even have the yarn for this item. 1 second. I need a sip, I'm so sorry. Oh, talking so much. But yes, in the last video, I wasn't working on this as a WIP or anything because it was kind of like not spur of the moment, but I remember my mom and we were in town one day, and I think we were going to Joann's for Halloween decorations just to kind of see what they have maybe on sale, because I know they always tend to mark their items down to like 50% before the holiday even hits, so I wanted to go and check some things out. And while we were there, I stumbled upon this yarn, which blew my mind because I've never seen this at Joann's before. Like, I've seen the fisherman's wool that they have that's 100% wool, which is great. I do really like that yarn. I've never personally used it in a project, but I have felt it many times and smelled it and snuggled it in the store. I know, it's so weird, but anyway. But I never bought it. But when I was there, I saw, you know, they had a sale. I believe it was like 25% off of Lion brand yarn. and I love a good sale or a good deal. So I was looking around the Lion brand yarns, excuse me, and I stumbled upon this yarn that is called Lion's brand local grown 100% US wool. And if you've been here for at least a good couple of episodes, you know how much I love the feel of a good US wool. Not saying that other countries or whatever don't have soft wool, but there is something really special about this yarn. And I do wish that this one said what exact kind of wool it is other than just US wool. I mean, that could be any breed of sheep, but I would love to do some more research and find out, because this feels so similar to the Quince & Co. 100% US wool for, I would say, well, I got it on a sale, so it was cheaper than Quince & Co. yarn, but I think it would be about on par with Quince & Co. yarn, maybe slightly cheaper on regular price. But I love this yarn. It is so soft and squishy. It's budget friendly, especially if you keep an eye out for any sales at Joann's or Michael's for Lion brand yarn. Or even just, I know like, I don't think Hobby Lobby carries Lion brand. Maybe they do. I may be wrong. I don't know. But I would just, keep an eye out on any of those sales, or if you get coupons, you can get really good yarn for such a good deal. I love it. It's so soft. No acrylic in this. It's, oh my god. It does say to hand wash it, so it's not super wash, but it is so beautiful. And I love this color. This is the color, I believe, yeah, moss. It's the color moss. Oh, I guess I could. Oh no, I did have it right. Yeah. But absolutely love it. Oh my god, it's just beautiful. So I bought 2 different colors of yarn. So I bought, I believe I bought 6 skeins of the green for a bigger size of this finished object. And I bought 4 or 5 for the smaller one. I can't remember. I think it may have been 4. Anyways, so with that said, I was out with my mom, bought some yarn, and I made something in between last filming and posting till now. So I made the Selma sleep suit by PetiteKnit out of the Lion brand 100%, or the Lion's brand local grown 100% US wool. And just yesterday I just sewed on these beautiful buttons. They're just little wooden buttons, and I got them off of Etsy from a seller. And so these actually open up to expose the hands, so whenever your baby's sleeping, you can have their hands out, like if they're getting too warm, or you can close them up. And I think these are gonna be, this is just so cute. And this is in the colorway maple. Oh, it smells so good. So the wool wash I use is the Eucalyptus jasmine scent, and it just smells heavenly. Like, oh my god, that's so good. And this yarn, it is so squishy, so cozy, not irritating at all. I cannot believe it's 100% wool. Like, and the fact that it's such a good deal to get, and it's affordable and soft, and I just absolutely love it. And it's just so sweet. So the feet do the same deal, where they do tuck in and you can open them up to expose them. A little bit about this pattern. So it is by PetiteKnit. This is also the 0 to 3 month size. And the little hood is so sweet. I will also put some pictures up here to show you how it looks. I am so happy with this. I cannot wait to make the second one out of the green. I just absolutely love it. They had some other beautiful colors there too, like a pretty gray, a cream, of course, and I think there was like a slate blue or a navy blue, and I'm really excited to make one of the bigger sizes, because one thing I have noticed through just reading through the reviews of people that have made this sleep suit is they all say they wish they would have made more sizes. Either they were gifted one size and their baby outgrows it within those couple months and then they don't have any more, or they make maybe two and then same kind of situation. Everybody was saying, you know, I wish I would have had more. So I thought, well, I'm gonna just make every size. I have plenty of time. I'm just gonna get it done and make them up. That way I have them, and yeah. So I got the first one done, or the 0 to 3 month size one. I will be starting the next size at some point soon. Once I'm done with all of my gift knitting, right now I've been pretty busy with that. Whew, it is really warm in this room. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm also rambling and kind of rushing through all of this. But anyways, so that is in the colorway maple for this one, just in case I didn't say that. This is the colorway maple. The second one will be in the colorway moss. And absolutely love it. The next finished object that I made, I did show in the last video. This is a gift that I am making for my brother. If you are my brother, which I don't think that he watches these videos, but if you are my brother, just, you know, maybe stop the video here. You don't need to watch the rest of the video. I really doubt he watches it, but just in case he does, that way it's not spoiled. So I love you, but brother, but maybe stop watching. So these are the felted slippers that I made for my brother. I think they turned out amazing. So I used the pattern from Inga from Knitting Traditions. She, in her episode number 21, at the very end, gives an oral translation from Norwegian to English for this slipper pattern. I will link that down below, and you can follow that and, you know, watch it if you are wanting this pattern. So these are the slippers, and so the one thing that the pattern doesn't do are the felted initials, so that is something I did on my own just to make it a little bit more personable since it's a gift. And I just bought, at Hobby Lobby they have this roving, and so it's $1.99 US, and this is the second pouch. So the first pouch that I actually opened to use for these letters, I don't even think I used half, maybe I did, maybe half of the roving. So anyways, so I just initialed his, or I hand felted his initials onto the tips of his toes of these slippers. And I just thought that would make it a little bit more personable. These are the largest size of the pattern that Inga translated for. My brother wears a size US 12, or like a European 45 or something like that. I can't remember, but anyways, got some pretty big feet. So I had such a tough time actually machine felting these slippers. I felt like I soaked and wrung them out and dried them so many times, and I think maybe I just wasn't letting them soak quite long enough. So the first time I put them in with some towels and I just washed them with the towels thinking that would help agitate them in the washer, but it really didn't do much. And I even had it on hot, like as hot as I could make my washer for that load cycle. And they hardly changed or shrunk or anything. It was insane. So I thought maybe, oh, okay, it's just the heat from the dryer that will really shrink them up. So I put it in, you know, for the highest heat I could and let them tumble dry with the towels, which kind of helped. They definitely felted a little bit. Not to this level by any means. Not like, I don't know if you can see how the stitches really have disappeared. And that's what I was going for. I wanted it to look not necessarily just like a store slipper, but I wanted them to look, you know, felted. So I ended up having to do that like 3 more times, but instead I took them into my kitchen sink and I just soaked them in wool, like soak wash that I have, and I just let them sit there for an hour or so. I took them out and just kind of like lightly wrung them out, and then I threw them back into the dryer on their own. And it did take a couple more times of doing that. But in the end, I got a great finished product. I think they look adorable. Absolutely love them, and I'll try and show the initials a little closer so you may be able to see they're kind of like 3D. I mean, I didn't want them to just be like, trying to see if I didn't want it to just be like flat, but I wanted it to kind of have some texture to it, I guess you could say. But anyways, those are his slippers that I finished up, and those are made from the Alafosslopi Istex yarn. So here's a skein that I have in a different color, but it's out of this yarn. That size, for the largest size, took me 4 skeins of this yarn to make those slippers for my brother. So quite a bit of yarn. And so that's all I have for finished objects, but I do have like a half finished object. So this is another gift knit that I'm making for my sister-in-law, so my brother's wife. So it's kind of like a, like, how do I put it, like his and hers Christmas gift kind of thing. You know, they really like that. So I made her slippers too. Hers are almost done. I just got done with the seaming here of her second one yesterday. So thank goodness Daniel has way smaller feet than my brother. Oh my gosh, made it go so much faster. Just absolutely love it. So pretty and cute, and it smells so good, like the wool. I just love that smell. But I'm hoping that with, I don't want to say my brothers were like the guinea pig project, but I'm hoping that with doing his, I may just go ahead and hand soak hers for just as long as I can, like just use really hot water and let them just soak for however long and just throw them into the dryer and see if that maybe will help get them to felt a little bit better than like his did. So I just need to felt these, and then I will hand felt her initials onto the toes so they're like my brother's. But with these felted slippers, you pretty much, you knit in the round to a certain point depending on what shoe size, and then you knit one side, then you go back, pick up some stitches, knit the other side, and do the toe. And then you seam up the back, or the what will be the back of the foot, this way. Okay, that is a huge key to this, because I messed up on my brother's when I was seaming his up. I seamed them up this way, so where the, like, instead of it going this way, I did it this way, and it just was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. So just make sure whenever you finish these, if you do decide to make them, finish them like almost like you're gonna do little pants, you know. But once you're done, you just kind of take them, I normally like put the heel in, and then I just kind of shove the foot into the other side of the foot, so it's like a double layer situation. It's a little finicky, but that's just what I do. And that's what she said to do. But anyway, that's what you do. But whenever you felt them, she suggested to actually felt them this way. So don't felt them like this. Felt them like this style. And then once they're felted, put them together. But anyways, I absolutely love this project. It is so quick, especially with my sister-in-law's, since she has significantly way smaller feet than my brother. She wears a US, I think she said 7 or 7.5, which was like a European, like 35 or 36, something like that. Anyway, so hers went really fast. Hers, I only needed maybe 3 skeins. Not a full 3 skeins. Because that was 2, 3. Yeah, so it was almost 3 skeins, but not quite 3 skeins. So I have quite a bit of that yarn left over for hers. So that is a half finished object. And that's all I have for finished objects. I do have a little bit like done on my WIP that I've been working on. And I have some kind of future knits I would like to talk about. So I will get into that. Working on is the Rota jumper by Irene Lynn, and one of the knitting podcasts called Honeybird Studio, hosted by Jenny. I've been in like comment talk with her. You know, I would like to say that we're friends, but we don't know each other personally, like I guess in real life, like we've never met up or anything, but every now and then we'll discuss, you know, knits and stuff through, you know, comments or like on personal messages on Instagram, which I just think is lovely. I love her podcast. She is so knowledgeable. She does beautiful designs. Oh my gosh, she is just amazing. So I will be linking her channel down below. So if you may not have seen her, you know, podcast before, you can go down there and check it out. But I would like to say that her and her friend, I believe her name is Faith. I don't watch Faith's channel yet. It's on my list of ones to watch, but I know that both of them are hosting a little make-along, a knit-along for Irene Lynn patterns. So if you follow the link down below to her channel, you can get all of the information for the knit-along there. But I bring that up because I am knitting an Irene Lynn pattern and I would like to participate in their make-along. I've never done a make-along or knit-along before. It's just always been like situational for me. Like I love all these knit-alongs everybody does, but I've never been in a situation where I could participate because of maybe I didn't have the yarn for it or pattern. It's like, do I really need to spend the money on yarn and patterns and stuff? But this one was just really a happy coincidence for me. I literally bought this yarn and planned on making this project, and then I find out she's doing a knit along for Irene Lynn patterns. So I thought that was cool. I believe it is hosted on Instagram. I don't know. Again, go to her channel. I don't want to give you bad information. Go to her video and check it out, and you'll have all the knowledge of what to do. So for my WIP, it is the Rota jumper by Irene Lynn, and I am knitting it out of the Quince & Co. 100% American wool in the base Osprey, but in the colorway Malbec. And I am in love with this project. I can see why Jenny has made multiple of these sweaters. And she does beautiful work, guys. You need to go and check out her channel. She does beautiful cable work, lace work. I mean, she's an inspiration for sure. Like, to me, I love her stuff. and she's so sweet and real, and I love her channel. Anyway, so I'm making this, and I'm in love with this, y'all. I am in love with this pattern. So last time you saw this in the last video, I literally had like a centimeter done, if not maybe 2 centimeters, if I'm nice. And I cannot put this down. It took every ounce of me to finish that sleep suit that I made, because I started this, but then I found that yarn and I was making that pattern, and I also was working on my brother's gift. I knew I had to get both of those things done before I really got back into doing this, because if I would have continued working on this, I don't know if my brother's gift would ever have gotten done, or that sleep suit, like, because I love working on this, y'all. It is so much fun. It incorporates cables and lace work. I don't even know if this is going to do it justice. Like, everything. The pattern is so clear to read. The yarn is squishy. I mean, it is a hug and a prod. I love this yarn. It is not scratchy at all. But I just love this pattern. Like, you get these beautiful little eyelets throughout. You do have some little, 1x1 cables here and there. And I prefer to use a cable needle. I know a lot of people that don't like to use cable needles, and all to ya. For some reason, I just really enjoy using a cable needle. I think it's just a fluid thing for me. It just works. It just works for me. And I've tried to do, especially since it is 1x1, I know that there are different knitting techniques you can do to not do it with a cable needle, but I personally like using a cable needle because I think it helps my cables stand out a little better. I think that cable needles, I don't know, I feel like I've looked at my cables when I've done it without a cable needle and with, and I feel like it kind of makes them plumper, if that makes sense. I don't know, it may just be me, but I prefer a cable needle, and it's only every handful of rows that you're using it anyway, but it's just so beautiful. And so here's the front side. I'm making the size 2. I forgot to mention that. So I'm making the size 2, and I'm doing the cropped version, and I've gotten the whole body done, and I went ahead and I did the neckline because I just love the look of a finished item when I'm done with the sleeves. I absolutely hate having to go back, so anytime I can go and do the collar, I will. And so I normally will stop on the body and do the sleeves and then finish the body, but since this is so cropped, like literally just maybe 4 inches past the actual sleeve, I just finish the body and do the sleeves. So I'm currently on the sleeves right now, and I've almost gotten through her section of it, I guess. So there's also my cable needle. I just kind of stick it in there when I'm not doing anything. And my beginning of row markers, this cute little kitty cat stitch marker. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I can show it in some way or form. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little gold kitty cat face. Maybe try and hide my face in some way, maybe. Anyway, I have cats and I thought it would be really cute. I just love this pattern. I want to make so many more. It is so therapeutic to work on this because it keeps your attention, really. It keeps mine, because I will sit down and I'll do stockinette every now and then watching TV or a movie that maybe is newer to me. So if it's a newer movie or something I need to read subtitles for like an anime I'm watching or K-drama, and I need to be able to read, I can sit there and do stockinette stitch, yeah, and watch those shows. But things I've seen many times, like, you know, The Crown or Downton Abbey, or, you know, The Hobbit. I love The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, any of those, you know, comfort watches for me while I'm knitting, I've seen so many times. I'm working on this baby. Oh my goodness. And the color is stunning. I love it. I cannot wait to finish this and just bundle up and be cozy. And I love that it has these eyelets, and I know it's going to grow significantly whenever I block it. I'm going to do my best to kind of not pin block it necessarily, but not overstretch it, I guess. But even if it is a little oversized, I don't mind, because I love oversized fits anyway. But I run really warm, so I love that there's eyelets, so I can wear like maybe, I don't know, like I have a couple of like burgundy bralettes, or maybe I could knit a couple more crop tops to go underneath it, do like a knits on knits situation. But I am so excited to get this done. It is so much fun. I'm just happy that I can actually participate in a knit along, and I hope that you all do too. Irene Lynn's patterns are stunning, and they're very feminine. I would say they run very feminine, but they are just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And oh my god, I'm probably gonna be obsessed in knitting many more of her patterns here soon. Oh my god, I'm just in love. Beautiful yarn for this. It's just so squishy. But now, after finding the Lions brand yarn, even if you don't want to buy the Quince & Co yarn, you know, plus you add on the shipping, which adds extra costs on. If you have a local Joann's near you, and let's say you're out grocery shopping or something, you can, you know, justify stopping and getting some of the local grown US wool and make this project, and it's gonna feel the same. Like, I'm telling you, this yarn and this yarn feel identical. And this one's significantly way more cost friendly and budget friendly. Not saying that this one isn't, because, you know, I could justify it at the time when I bought this yarn, because I do believe I may have gotten it on sale. This one as well. So I love a good sale, but, you know, I didn't know Joann's had that yarn, and now that I do, I mean, I may leave the Quince & Co yarns for very special projects, but for like more multiple projects I want to make, like if I want to make any more of this Rota jumper, I'll probably just go and buy, you know, this one. But that's the only WIP I have currently, because I just finished my sister-in-law's project, or present, last night. Actually, I just seamed that last night. So those were my other WIP, but since I finished it and I'm recording today, this is currently my only WIP. So I'm hoping to have this done in probably another week or two, maybe, depending on how much time I get. With that said, I am going to talk a little bit about some acquisitions and kind of future knits that I have going on with some of these acquisitions. So if you are interested in seeing that and hearing about some of my future knits, feel free to stick around. But if you are not interested in that sort of thing, thank you for staying this long, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. And if you are interested in acquisitions, I will see you in just a second. Alrighty, welcome to the acquisitions section, and thank you for staying around if you are interested. So, backstory of how I got these acquisitions. My mom and I we went to the Macklemore concert in Spokane, Washington, back in October, early October, and I got some yarns from a amazing yarn shop they had there, and they also had a lot of fiber, like weaving. It's called Paradise Fibers. You can order online. I will link their website down below. But it was the biggest yarn shop I've been to yet, and it was so beautiful. They had all types of stuff in there, and I originally went in there because I know my mom wanted to go. That was one of our big things. Like, she had been there before, and she's like, Melissa, you have to go to this yarn shop. So we went in, and I was just going to kind of look around. I was kind of on the prowl for maybe some more, interchangeable needles and cords, just to add to my stash of needles, because one can never have too many, in my opinion. So I went in there for that, and they didn't have the needles that I typically use. They did have a lot more actual needle sets there in person, and I just couldn't justify actually buying a whole interchangeable needle set. I have 2 already that I kind of go back and forth off of. One is a Knitter's Pride, so like the Knit Pro needles, which I do tend to use quite a bit, and the Lykke or Luca knitting needles, the driftwood set that I got for Christmas a couple of years ago from my husband. But while we were there, I found some Alafosslopi, which I've already shown one of the colors already. So I've shown this one as reference a couple of times already. So I bought 4 skeins of this one, and it is such a beautiful color. Color is 1236. And 100% Icelandic wool, same as this, the yarns I'm using for the slippers. And so I thought, hey, they're turning out great. I'm going to also make my husband a pair for Christmas and put in his initials. And then while I was there, because the reason I got these is because the local yarn shop to me that carries Alafosslopi, they don't have these colors. The only colors she carries are more neutrals, and I believe a couple of the blue shades. I'm trying to think, I may have seen a pink one there. I know she has a red, like a deep red one, but it's mostly like grays, cream, brown, beige, taupe, very neutral colors, and then a dark blue and like a medium blue. But I've never seen these colors. So there was this one that they had, and then they also had this one. And this one's so pretty. Like, I don't think it's going to pick up on camera, but it has like these beautiful colors in it. Like, I see like specks of blue and red and yellow and some green in here. Like, I just thought they were so pretty. So I thought I would get this color for myself. I really like this kind of brown, light orange situation going on. And then I got this one for my husband. So I thought I could do like his and her slippers for us too. So anyway, those are his, I would say, are a higher priority than mine, because I do want to make these for him for Christmas. And then I'll make these for me if I get done with all the slippers. So I'm making a lot of felted slippers right now. They're so much fun. They do go very fast. Men's sizes take forever. Oh my god. I feel like knitting socks or sweaters for my husband just takes forever. I know that my brother's slippers took forever. It felt like, I know my husband's slippers are gonna feel like forever, but then whenever I get to do like my sister-in-law's present or these, it just goes so much faster. So anyways, I'm very excited to be making some more felted slippers out of these beautiful colors. I love the autumnal just colorways. And also, while I'm speaking about this yarn too, this one, I don't think you'll be able to see the flecks of color in this one as well, but there's like black specks in here. It's just beautiful. And his favorite color is orange. He loves the color orange. And so this may not be like neon orange, but I figured, hey, it is orange and it's beautiful, and it would look so good on his skin tone. Well, pretty much either of these, but I know that he is really gonna like this color a lot more. So I got those from Paradise Fibers over there in Spokane, Washington. And also, speaking of the Macklemore concert, sorry, I'm picking these off of the floor and putting them into the bag. But speaking of the concert, it was so much fun. My mom and I had a blast. It was amazing. The only thing that was miserable for me is I do have minor scoliosis in my back, so it's not severe, but it's just enough to cause me a lot of discomfort when I've been in a spot for too long. So I get it really bad if I'm on an airplane or in a car. And I remember that day driving over there, it was so painful for me. I get it on my right side, like right underneath my shoulder blade, and it just like hurts all the way down that back strap to my hip. And it is one of the worst pains I've ever felt, is having that pain. And I didn't have my foam roller with me. Oh, I don't even think I had my Icy Hot or BioFreeze. I normally always have those on me whenever I'm going for quite a lengthy time in a seated position anywhere. But I didn't bring those with me. So that first day of driving took a toll on my body. But by the time we got there, we ate, we got to move around, get into the hotel and stuff before the concert. It actually did really well. So it was kind of nice. We did make that stop at the yarn shop when we got there. I was able to move around, but I just remember being in quite a bit of pain. But all is well, just a lot of stretching, and I use my foam roller to roll it out and kind of massage it. But, you know, and I think I even took Advil on the trip. My mom had Advil on her, so I took a couple of tablets, but it just, if any of you know that kind of almost like muscular or even arthritic pain, it takes for, like, sometimes the Advil doesn't work, is more or less what I'm saying, and it was just awful. Like, to the point on our way home, my mom drove a significant amount of the time. I drove over the pass that we took through Leavenworth because my mom has never gotten to be a passenger in the car going through that pass, and it's one of the most beautiful passes here in Washington State. And so I wanted her to be able to experience the sights instead of being behind the wheel. So I did, you know, take the morning off of driving. She drove up to Wenatchee, and then we switched over, and then I took over from there over the pass, and it was so spectacular. We have never gone over the pass in the fall. It's always been late summer or maybe spring, like late spring, early summer, so it's always been in the warmer months. We were so shocked at how beautiful the fall colors were. I know my mom took multiple videos. I will try and get in contact with her to have her send me some of those possibly and post them at the end of this video, because y'all, I know a lot of people talk about, you know, the East Coast, Appalachian Mountain, you know, beautiful fall colored trees, but these views, I 10 times better in my own opinion. Oh my God. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Rivers rushing, you know, side to side while you're driving down. Beautiful views. But anyway, I do digress, and I will show you the last little bit of yarn that I bought. So, I have fiber from those guard hairs off of the Alafosslopi. So I will say that this yarn has really stiff guard hairs on it. So that is just a natural occurrence with the Icelandic sheep breed. Because they live in such cold environments, you have guard hairs to help protect them from the winters and all of that. So that's why it's like maybe a little scratchy to people. It's that those guard hairs are there for a purpose, but they always get into my nose. And it's so frustrating. Like, I'll be sitting there knitting with it, and it's like, oh, how'd that get in my mouth? Anyways, so when we were at the yarn shop, I know that I spoke in the last video about how I am aspiring to make the Yell cardigan here soon by Marie Wallen. And I know that that's a little bit down the road for me. I still have a project or two lined up before I actually start that cardigan. But while I was at this yarn shop that is just magnificent, I found that they have Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift there. So I had no knowledge of what yarns that they carried before going in there, so I wasn't planning on necessarily buying the yarn. Like I said before, I have one in there thinking needles, but I saw beautiful colors from Alafosslopi, the Istex brand, that I've never seen before, and thought, hey, that'd be beautiful as a gift. But then I saw literally a wall of all of these different colors. I'll have to hold them up in sections just because there's quite a bit for this cardigan. So here's the first set that I got. So I was on my phone looking at the pattern because I have the book here at home, but again, I didn't plan on buying these. So I didn't have any color references or anything. So I got on there and I was looking up what they suggested, or what she suggested in the pattern. And some of them I could find, some of them I could not. And there are some, so there's some that I had to substitute, but then there's a couple that I also just on color, like I didn't want it to be like bright colors, or as bright as she had. I wanted them to be a little bit more muted, so I dropped down color tones, like with this blue, instead of it being the paler kind of bright blue, I found something a little bit more earthy. So that's the first set there that I got. And then let's see if I can hold the rest of these. So I bought a couple extra just in case I didn't care for the colors together in the pattern, just because I did have to switch and substitute. So I did buy a couple extra just in case. But here's the other set for the cardigan. I just love these colors so much. They're absolutely beautiful. So I'm really excited to be getting into that at some point. So like I also said, I have some other projects before I tackle the Yell cardigan by Marie Wallin, but at least I have all the yarns for it now. I am pretty happy about that, so I can start that at some point soon. And I really like this yarn. I will say it's a lot softer than I thought it would be. I've never used this yarn before by Jamieson's. I've heard about it a lot with color work and stuff like that, but I've personally never got to touch it or feel it. So after being able to see it in person there, it was really nice because I got to feel it, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like, that's gonna be fine. Like, I was worried that it'd be really scratchy. Like if it were like the Alafosslopi, like a Icelandic wool, I don't know if I would have been able to tolerate that skin to skin. Like, I've used Plutelopi for some items, and I'll say the shawl I made out of the Plutelopi is the most comfortable, but I have made a sweater out of Plutelopi and it's just too itchy for me skin on skin, so I always have to wear like a thin long sleeve underneath it. So I was worried that this would be really scratchy, and like, because I am slightly sensitive, not like super sensitive, but I was really worried about that. But after getting to see it, and I was actually really warm when we got there, so it was really nice to be able to put it on my skin and feel it, because when I get warm, it tends to be more prickly, but I really love it, and it smells great. Like, if you love the smell of sheepy wool, it smells so lovely. So that is all the acquisitions that I got while I was there. Let's see. Some of my future knits that I'm going to be working on are the felted slippers for my husband and myself. I will be working on the next size for the Selma sleep suit, and also the waffle sweater that I showed in the last video. It is a knitting for olive pattern, and I bought some silk mohair from Knitting for Olive to make that sweater. So that will be my next sweater after the Rota jumper. So once I'm done with this one, I will make that, and then the Yale cardigan. But I do believe I will be casting on the next size for the sleep suit here soon, just because I only have one WIP and I feel like that's a little, or one active WIP I should say, because I do have a couple of other things that I've shown before that I have not worked on recently, so those I'm just gonna let kind of simmer on the back burner for a little bit while I work on these items that I'm really motivated to work on, because it's all about having fun when you knit and loving what you're knitting. And if you're not enjoying the process or the make itself, just frog it and start something new, or put it to the side and work on something you want to work on. It shouldn't be so demanding. I feel like just have fun with it. It's a craft that's supposed to bring, you know, peace and just calm and all the good vibes, you know what I mean? But yeah, those are my future knits I'm going to be working on. And again, I'm very just overly happy that you all have stayed this long to listen to me ramble about all of my things I've been working on. And yeah, let me know what you're working on down below. I would love to talk to you. I appreciate all of your comments that you leave, any likes that you have. I just given me, it brings me so much like internal happiness. I feel so loved by you guys and I really appreciate that. If you are wanting to keep up with me on a more, I would say, semi-regular basis, I don't always post to Instagram or Ravelry, but those are other social outlets where I do post a little bit more frequently. So if you would want to follow me there, I am liveinstitches on Instagram and also liveinstitches on Ravelry. I will put those down here on the screen. I don't think I really reference those enough. I know I have them in my description, but those are there. I can't remember if my Instagram is private or not, but just send me, you know, a friend request and I'll accept, just because, you know, I'm a little private, but I don't know. I don't remember if I've made it public or not. I don't know. Send a friend request. I don't mind. But yeah, that's what I tend to post. Like my recent post is my husband and I just recently celebrated our first wedding anniversary. So that was very sweet. We went out the Saturday before because our anniversary is actually on Halloween. So he had work, I was, you know, so we weren't able to go out that night. So we went out the Saturday before. We went to this beautiful Italian restaurant. Oh my God. The best food I've ever had in my life. Like, I was so emotional after eating there. I've never had food that good in my life. Oh my God, we had this beautiful like seared calamari dish for an appetizer. Perfect. It was amazing. And my husband was a little worried because he has never had seared calamari. He's only ever had deep fried. And it was so superb. It was amazing. And then they didn't have, so there's their restaurant menu, but then there's their chef menu that they have. And we both ordered off of the chef menu. But the dish that I wanted was sadly sold out. And I was very sad because I've for years wanted to try the squid ink pasta. And of course they were sold out of that dish. But I was able to get a really interesting dish there. It was a spinach pasta, or spinach incorporated pasta that they had, and it had a wild boar meat in it and was so scrumptious, beautiful, tasty, just oh my God, intoxicatingly lovely. It was a beautiful candlelit dinner. We both got dressed up. Brad wore his not his full suit from the wedding, but he wore the pants and a nice polo, and he just looked so handsome. And then I wore this beautiful like satin slip dress. It was just so much fun. But we got to celebrate our anniversary that day, And on our actual anniversary, Brad made this beautiful steak dinner for us. It was just so good. And I don't think I talk about that enough. Like, my husband, whenever I first met him, he was actually a dishwasher at this gourmet restaurant here in town, but he worked up to being a line cook. So he was on the line with a lot of them. So he learned how to make really, really good food. So I'm very spoiled that, like, on nights that I'm not able to make dinner or just not feeling like it, he can really, you know, help out, you know, like he will just get up and go and make something, you know, where I need a recipe. I need to know exactly what I need to do. Where he's like, let's just do this, and it's just amazing. So he made a beautiful steak dinner for us that night. Also on Halloween, I went to the parade here in town where a lot of the kids and families, they walk down our first street. It's just a small town, you know. They walk all the way down to all the businesses and they trick or treat, and it was just so cute. So we went to that, and then we went over to a trunk or treat over on the Swinomish Reservation here, and I got to see my sister and Katie, and just real quick, I wanted to pop over and say hi to them, and then pretty much went home and spent the rest of the night with my husband and the reason he wasn't at these places is he was driving home from work. He has about a little less than an hour commute to get home, so he wasn't able to go with me there. But other than that, 1 year married, it's just been amazing, and oh my gosh, I'm just excited to see where it, you know, leads us, you know. But thank you so much for sticking around. I should pop off of here and head and do some chores and get some things started, because it is 10:44 in the morning while I'm filming this. So I'm gonna go and upload this video and start editing it and get some chores done, do some knitting, watch some knitting podcasts, because that's my favorite way to spend time with other knitters is to hang out and just knit. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.